Alright guys, it's King the Modder here. Today I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how to create very simple textures for Spintires. Um, Starting out, you'll need 3ds Max. I'm not going to explain how to get it. There's a free version online, legally, through student versions. I'm actually just going to go through my settings super quickly because of a download I had. It changed it, so for whatever. That's not normally how I have it. The perspective is normally down here, but for this it'll be fine. Alright. So for this I'm just gonna make a box as an example of a truck. For your truck you'll do each piece that you want. You can have as many pieces as you want. The less pieces, sometimes the easier, sometimes harder. So I'm gonna go through, create my box. That's a little big, so there's still alright. I'm gonna rotate it for this, get it in here right, and center it. Alright, so there's a box, right? And now I'm going to go and do several other objects, just for an example. Now, everyone who has been doing modding for a while should know you need a collision file in Spintires. And instead of doing like a mirror thing, I'm just going to do this on top. Alright, so there's that. This one over here. Okay, so I got two boxes sitting on top of a big box. Alright, this is what I'm going to do. Normally I use Edit Poly modifier. That's if you're doing anything with 3ds Max, that's honestly what you need to learn to use. Edit Mesh is incompetent compared to Edit Poly. Alright, I know people have been doing this for 10 years. One of the guys on the team has been doing this with this program for 10 years. He says Edit Poly is the best way to go. Anyways, so I'm going to attach it all together and go to, now this is the actual texturing part now, okay? This is, well, UV mapping. This is where you tell the objects to have a placement on a flat image that you can color afterwards. It's the easiest way I can explain it. So you're gonna add a unwrap UVW modifier and then select by polygon, this little red square, and then press Control A to select everything, open the UV editor. You can notice that there's a whole bunch of checkers in here. You want your UV mapping to be inside within this area. I'm going to show you a couple things. Well, now that you have all this selected, right, you're going to go to mapping up at the top and normal mapping. Turn off rotate clusters and go down to box mapping. This is the easiest way to do it. Now you got a general layout here. I can make this a little bigger so it's easier for you guys to see. It's kind of hard to see because it's green. I apologize. Alright, so you can see, actually, let's just make that smaller. Now you can see as I select this group here, you can see it select those sides. If I select that side, it'll be selecting that side over there. You know, so on and so forth, right? Now, let's say I wanted to do box mapping for that, and that separately. Then what you do is, the easiest way in this case is to select by element along with poly. Click on that. Open the UV editor again, if it's not open. Mapping and normal mapping. and do the same thing for the box mapping. Now we'll do this. Now you can align these however you want. In my case, I'm going to want to just pile them on top of each other really cheaply. Okay. This is just really cheap. Really quick and cheap, okay? Now, you know what? For me, this is good enough, right? So this is basically, you can now select things, you can map it, there's different ways you can map it. You can do an unfold mapping, which will turn out really weirdly. Takes a little while sometimes too. And it'll do this, right? Unfolds from, so here, let me take the object off. And you see that face, over to that face, to that face, to that face. So basically it does a walk along, right? There to there. Does the best. It's basically a net that it creates, alright? Sometimes it doesn't do the best job of it. Now there's more normal mappings, there's flatten mapping. I normally turn off rotate clusters. I want to have everything selected again. Flatten mapping. Does something like that. So you can do whatever mapping fits best for you. You can also do just a top and bottom view mapping. But normally the best one is the box. Alright? That gets all sides. It doesn't stretch the texture then. Alright, so this is the basic shape, or the basic outline. This is what I want, right? So once you get the template that you want, you can go into the tools, render UV template, and there's a bunch of settings in here you can choose that are best for you. If you're doing tires, you can adjust the alpha in here as well. Alpha is what will allow your tire to get texture mud on it. So now these stock settings that you texture with are going to give you something like this. Not that helpful, right? So several texture people I know will do something like this. And this gives them an idea of where their shading needs to be. Now you don't need to do something like this at all. Actually, in best cases, I'd go with a solid. And you can also change the color by selecting the little gray box right here. So let's say I want blue. There's blue, right? Now I will have a blue box. I zoomed out a little bit, sorry about that, my mouse does this. Alright, so I have an RBG alpha, red, blue, green, well, RGB alpha, right? So that's what you want it to be. You're going to save image and save it into your textures folder for your truck. I haven't exported this, so I'm going to have to do that. I'll go through those steps just in case some people want to see this. Excuse me. Alright, desktop. Now you gotta find where your Spintires is. Go to the media, and then textures, and this is how it should be when you're doing mods. Textures, trucks, and then your truck folder. So I'm gonna create a new folder and call it box. Right? And go into that folder and do make a name for it, and then do .tga. Now if you have an alpha, you're gonna do your name, so box underscore DA if you have an alpha, which means it's a diffuse alpha. If you don't have DA, it won't read the alpha properly. So you go .tga after that and save it. Right? Alright, that's done. So now the export, which I'll go through here really quickly. Now, because I changed the size of this, and there's multiple objects, they've been scaled down, I've made copies, you always want to apply a reset Xform. So you reset the object, you go into the hierarchy tab, and you reset the transform and scale. and you right click on that and you collapse to. That'll fix any issues you have. You'll notice the UVW mapping went away. It's still there, don't worry about it. Now I'm doing the easiest way for me, because this is so low detail. I'm going to make a copy of this, name it CDT. That means it's the collision file. That's how it reads a collision file, alright? There we go. You could also do linking, but this is too simple to do linking for. So now I'm just going to export it. So I go to desktop, SD Modable, Media, Meshes, Trucks. Make sure it's an X file, and I'm going to call this box.x, alright? Now I'm going to save it. Now the next piece here is, now we need to go into our meshes, media, meshes, trucks area. Best thing, what I normally do is I'll go in here and oh, I've got to press OK on that. There. Might help if I press OK, right? So the next thing, normally what I do is I'll copy from the URL exhaust for something simple like this, but actually to be a little better, teach you guys a little better, you're going to open this. If you have Notepad++, open it with that. You're making sure you're opening a good template. XML would be the UAZ chassis, okay? So if you have Notepad++, open it with that. If not, open it with Notepad. And you're going to open it up and change where it says mesh equals chassis 0. Well, mesh is the same mesh name as you have in here. You don't need to apply a texture to the CDT. I advise you not to. I'm going to select by list. There. Box 01, right? So we're just going to highlight this and copy it. Paste it into here. Delete the 0 because it's not needed. Now you see it says trucks UAZ chassis underscore D. Well, we don't need a normal map, and we don't need a spec map, and because we don't have a spec map, we don't need the glossiness. If you have the glossiness, it changes it and makes it super shiny. And yeah. So now you got to follow your directory, right? So where did I save this to? I saved it to, let's take a look. SD Modable Copy, Media, Textures, Trucks. So trucks / box / box.tga, and I think I did __da, didn't I? Let's see. Yes, so box __da.tga. Now for something like this, because it's a cab, you only need D, but I put DA just because. Honestly, yeah, you shouldn't have a DA. So let's go in here and change it on both. The name does matter for textures, usually. Now we don't need this because we only have one object. However, if you had multiple objects that had different UV mappings, you would change the mesh, change the albedo map, and your shininess. And transparent equals true means that it's glass, it's going to be transparent, right? You can get rid of that and delete it. So what we have here, I'm just going to delete this whole area. Make sure you have your start and an end tag, right? This is good. So a file, save, nope, save copy as, save as box.xml. Make sure you type in that .xml if you're using regular Notepad. Notepad++, you don't need to. Alright, save. Now we're going to go over to our truck, and I'd use the UAZ, but I have a mod on it already, so we'll go to the Maz2, alright? Now there's a chance this may or may not work, so now we're in the media classes trucks, okay? So we're going to go to wherever your truck file is, open it up, scroll down, and choose your, I scrolled past it, choose the XML, right? And by the way, when you're making the, this is the texture, this is your material XML, so make sure it has the same exact name as your X file. If it doesn't, then it won't work, okay? So now I'm going to do box.xml because that's the name of it. And we'll save this, open up Spintires, and see what it does. as I said, it may or may not work, and it's deciding to open on my other screen, so please forgive me for this. I'll have to drag it over once it starts to work. We're going to go on the volcano map. Hello, drag over. Here we go. Alright, there. We got our blue box into Spintires. As you can see, blue box with 4 wheels put into Spintires. How awesome is that, right? So that's how to do simple text just for Spintires. I'm sorry for being monotoned and boring and repeating myself and saying some things at first that I shouldn't have. So, and correcting myself repeatedly. I'm sorry, I'm not very good at doing videos, but you know, if you request videos, I will do them. Yeah, thank you guys, and have fun modding.